trip.
It's Trip. Morton? Morton, who's got the camera?
Hey, welcome to this new review, and we are going to talk about one of my favorite, if not my favorite, from season 2, television terror. A very simple storyline for a kick-ass episode. One of the best tales from the Crypt. And the story is very simple. Basically it goes: a TV shock journalist gives an on-air tour of an eerie haunted house. So it takes place in Los Angeles. We got this television crew. They're filming that show, which is a shabby show actually, and two characters, basically the Morton one and Sam, the girl he sleeps with, and you get this kind of relationship where he uses her. And this kind of arrogant man is very confident in his business, which is hosting shows. And here the show is quite bad. It's a show about supernatural stuff. And with this cameraman, they're going to shoot at night in a haunted house. Supposedly 5 years after crimes had been committed. They're going to shoot, well, the show live, as he always does. So the director, Charlie Picerni, is great here. He's not very well known because I read that he was a stunt coordinator. So, what a job he did with television terror. A kick-ass episode. Because the guy was initially a stunt coordinator and assistant. And it's great. And the writer, Randall Jahnson, wrote the film The Doors and The Mask of Zorro. And it's funny because the Doors are evoked in the episode. The Doors, Jim Morrison. Because Morton wants to do some video, some show about Jim Morrison, a couple taking photographs of Jim Morrison, bullshit like that, because it's supernatural shit that people like watching, but it's all right. So it's a great episode of suspense, of horror, of terror. It's a great memory of mine because as a child I was really shocked by the horror scenes because they happen at the right time, and this is very important and very hard to make understand to some current directors or writers, because actually first thing that needs to be said is that television terror is maybe the origin of found footage, because it's a show within the show, a metafiction, as I like saying. It's metafiction because we see people performing something to build a show in the show, and here the episode is shot and the director, Charlie Picerni, is shooting someone who shoots. So it's all about entertaining, showing how to entertain out of, macabre situations. So it's very interesting because it's found footage. We see the cameraman Trip following Morton, and we see, but we can't see all, just like the two men entering the house. while commenting on what they are seeing, the kitchen and so on, the walls, the basement. But we don't see all, we hear, so it's a very interesting episode to notice that seeing and showing are again at the core of the episode. And it's all about the codes of the haunted house, the abandoned mansion. We got the white sheets reminding of ghosts, the piano reminding of the music in the beginning, but the piano is grim here. The notes are not very pleasing, and it succeeds where found footage movies today don't interest me no more, because we see at the right time, we can see flashbacks in the house. Morton see one, but before he sees, we see as he opens doors, we see what happens, we know more. And it's funny because maybe in the bathtub, there's that old man who has been throat slashed, and we see it empty today, and before he opens the door we can see what happens, and that brings a lot of, this is brilliant for suspense. You hold your breath, and it's rare today, I guess, this kind of well thought shots we see, but we don't see too much. Now, film making is great, the use of music is tremendous. We see zombies at the right time, the old people that have been massacred by the crazy woman before. We got some blood, we got chainsaw murder of Morton in the ending. And besides all these great aspects of an enjoyable episode, we got some psychological, typical aspects of Tales from the Crypt, such as the greed, the will to manipulate, because Morton uses his girlfriend, if we may say so, Sam, he uses her, he sleeps with her, as he said, to enhance his own image, because it's filled with narcissism. He uses her, and she doesn't like it. She's not dumb enough. So there is some kind of manipulation, but it is just suggested when they talk before and during the commercial break. We understand that he's not really a good guy, but he has charisma. He's charismatic, but she will take her revenge, because the moment what he says, it's like a backlash. It comes back to him. He's not afraid. He is very restless in his way of being. And actually, when the situation will be reversed, that's when he started to be scared, and terror enters. So it's funny to see that guy who was self-confident, who was very self-absorbed, that now becomes scared, because he's the only one who saw the old man with his throat slashed in the bathtub, because the cameraman was looking at was mending his camera. And it's funny because he's alone in a way. He enters alone. Now the death of Crypt is awesome, because all the shots of the episode should be studied as an example of great filmmaking and editing, because that camera movements. We got Morton looking down at the stain of blood on the rug, and when you look up, camera tracks up, and we see the leg, the all-star shoes swinging, and he looks up. What does he see? We see Trip has been hung, but who hung Trip? We don't see once again. It's not showed, and that's what's great. And who's holding the camera? It's the climax. Who's holding the camera? This is the climax, and the music goes on, and we see that old-faced zombie. It's great to see old people as zombie too. It's interesting because the victims are seniors, and they got something. The makeup is awesome. We don't know actually if they are zombies or ghosts, but they definitely waste our friend Morton. So this episode is really awesome. I read that Morton Downey Jr., the main character, used to be a talk show host, so rest in peace. He's great. He's really he's one of the most interesting character because he's despicable, and in the end we're not sure. We want to see him die an horrible death. Actually, what's interesting in the episode to me is the fact that Sam could have saved him, but she becomes a real bitch. And I would go further and say that she has become worse than him. She's become like him in a way he encouraged her to have that killer instinct. But here, it's more than that. That she shows its sadistic behavior. Just for what? For TV ratings. So using people, he uses victims, he uses grim situation of previous murders, and he ends up being used for the TV ratings. And he's used by the girl, by the woman he used to use. So Sam uses Morton and death by the chainsaw and hung. So terrible death. Television terror is really a crescendo. Is really a simple plot, but very effective. Television terror is a great episode. In the end, it was episode 16, the end of my season 2 review. I'll do my top 5, and television terror will be in this top 5. There is no doubt about it. So, thanks for watching. What do you think about this one? You can comment below or give your opinion. I'll be glad to receive it. So, thanks for watching. Television terror, 20 minutes. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch it. It's not a waste of time. So, television terror, great episode. Thanks for watching.